Welcome to Small Arms Solutions. Today we're looking at the H&K P7 series pistol. In 1976, this pistol hit the market as the Police Self-Loading Pistol, or PSP. This was a very, very unique pistol in several aspects. First off, this pistol is not recoil operated. This is what's referred to as gas operated blowback. We also have what's referred to as the squeeze cocker. Now, when you squeeze, you can see on the back here, you can see the firing pin protrude from the rear. So when the trigger is pulled, you see that it fires. Anytime you squeeze the cocking handle, you're able to see that firing pin protruding, so you know what condition that you're in. When you release, pistol is now decocked, so you're not carrying this pistol in a cocked position. It's not cocked until you squeeze, and you're ready to go. This is a 9x19 caliber, 9mm NATO caliber. Weighs about 27.7 ounces. It's relatively heavy. You have a steel frame and you have a steel slide. About 6.5 inches. The barrel's 4.1 inches, and with a width of 1.1 inches. And you have a 8-round magazine. Now, this particular one is the P7. You have some other models we're going to discuss in a little bit. They're going to be a little bit different, higher magazine capacity and whatsoever. But you have a very, very interesting pistol here. A little bit of a personal note on this pistol. During my training as a forensic firearms examiner, I had my training period that I was in. And part of my final exam was to have my boss take this pistol apart and then for me to put it back together with no instructions. Now, to my understanding, still to this date, this pistol has more parts than any other pistol on the face of the earth. So I had to put this back together, not knowing anything about it, not having any diagrams. It took me about a day and a half to get this sucker back together. So this is a very complex pistol in the way that it's manufactured, especially with those numerous number of pieces. In 1979, this was adopted by GSG-9, the German Special Forces. Again, Germany has a history of utilizing their own weapons manufactured in their own plants. They tend not to buy a lot from foreign companies, which why should they? They have Heckler & Koch right there. So you have one of the world's premier manufacturers right in your own back door. The system is referred to as gas-delayed blowback. Basically what you're going to see is you see the diagram you have here. You have a gas cylinder that's made up between this area here and this area here. And as you'll see from the photograph, you'll see that there is an operating rod that's attached to the front of the slide. And you have a piston it makes up the gas cylinder between the back of the piston and the back of the frame. So when the pistol fires, you have a gas port. The gas goes down into the gas port and it fills up that chamber. And what that does is that holds the slide closed until the bullet exits the barrel. As soon as the bullet exits into the atmosphere, the gas pressure drops along the slide to come back, extract, eject, and to recoil spring to allow the slide to go forward to feed another round. Another interesting aspect about this is the barrel. The barrel is also a polygon-type barrel, hammer forged type barrel. For extraction, there is a system that's been used on many machine guns for years. There's a system which is referred to as a fluted chamber. Basically, as you can see from the photograph, we have numerous flutes that go all the way around the chamber. What happens is when the bullet fires, gas goes back into those flutes, and it impinges on the brass to push the brass out of the chamber, which basically the extractor is not doing a lot of the work. Most of the work's being done by the chamber pressure in the flutes, making it it's so reliable that H&K has done many demonstrations with this pistol where they remove the extractor altogether, and the pistol will still function due to the flutes. Now, as you may or may not be able to see from this cartridge case, now you notice these lines that you see on the cartridge case. These are the flutes, and where you see the burnt marks is where the gas impedes onto the cartridge case to push the cartridge case out of the chamber. So those 18 flutes make a very big difference in reliability. The fact that a pistol will still function without an extractor is absolutely extraordinary. Now, there's one major benefit to this system, and there's one sort of a setback. Now, due to the fact that the barrel is in a fixed position, it's not moving, the pistol is extremely accurate. The barrel does not have any movement whatsoever, so it keeps it true. The bad part is the way this gas system works. You're going into a metal frame. That causes the frame to heat up very, very quickly. So it does not take that many rounds for the sucker to be able to heat up. And you'll be able to see from the shooting video that we're doing the differences in the heat, what the actual temperatures are from the slide to the frame. Now, the grip cocker itself basically is 2 pounds to pull it inward. And as you can see, the striker is in the rear position. Now, this can be fired in a couple different ways. One, all the way to the rear, and then you can push the trigger. The next way is you can hold the trigger down and then pull the striker back and it will fire as well. So you have a couple different ways that it can fire. Your magazine release on the P7 is on the bottom. Push inward. And we have an 8-round magazine. Now, there's no manual safety on this pistol at all. Everything is done with the grip safety. So that makes this pistol very ambidextrous, the fact that you have your magazine releases on the bottom, either hand, and you have the grip cocker, and you have no manual safety, so completely ambidextrous. We're going to show disassembly of this pistol, which is very, very simple. Again, we're going to remove the magazine. Check again for safety. No brass, no ammo. We have a button, as you can see, in this position right here. We're going to push inward on that button, push back, and we're going to lift out. So here we have the recoil spring, and we have the pistol. As you can see, the barrel is in the fixed position. Now, looking at the slide, you can see your operating rod. Then there's a channel that it goes into right in the frame. Again, the gas impedes pushing forward on this operating rod. And again, once the bullet reaches the atmosphere and the pressures drop, that allows the gas to escape and the slide to move rearward. And what you would expect from H&K, you have just extreme quality. You have no machining marks, very, very well made. This has a blued finish on it. As you see by looking close in here, you can see the precision machining. You can see we don't have a lot of external parts. But once you take these grips off, you have tons of parts. So for reassembly, we're going to take the recoil spring. We're going to slide that back onto the barrel. This can be a little bit tricky here because you got to get that spring. Then you line up the piston as well. And there you have it. That's all there is to it. Once the P7 hit the U.S. market, there was some immediate changes that needed to be made for the American market, which introduced between 1982 and 83 model P7 M8. Basically what it did was it took the magazine release and moved it from the bottom to the side, and it was also ambidextrous. It had a larger trigger guard, and also the trigger had to have a synthetic heat pad put in here as well. As I told you that when this thing heats up, it can get awfully uncomfortable. So there was a synthetic heat pad that was placed up here to protect the shooter's hand from the heat. The next model that came into the market was the P7-M13, which basically was the P7-M8 with a 13-shot magazine. That was something that was necessary, too, for the higher capacity. Now, for as far as the feel of the gun's concerned, it definitely did widen the grip up, but for somebody who had my size hands, it was comfortable. The next model was the P7-M13 SD, which made for use with a sound suppressor. The pistol really got noticed during the movie Die Hard. The Hans Gruber had one of the stainless steel versions of the P7 M8, which certainly was iconic for as far as a movie, and it also was iconic for as far as the interest in the pistol. And then in 1991 came the P7 M10, which was a double stack 40 S&W. They gave you a 10-round magazine of the powerful 40 S&W ammunition. This pistol has been in very limited use, and the reason being was cost. This was always an expensive pistol, regardless of when it was manufactured. I can remember probably around 1991 or 92 to 93 area when I was working in a gun shop, these were well over $1,000. Well, these unfortunately went out of production. Right now, you're looking at probably around $4,000 to start with for any one of these HK type models. So the price has definitely gone up on them. They were adopted very limited by police departments, like a lot of H&K weapons, just due to the fact of the cost. H&K has always made absolutely incredible weapons, but their cost is up there. When you look at it, you can see. You can see that the quality's there. You can see the German engineering is definitely superior to a lot of countries in the world. But the pistol, right now remains a collector's item. I don't see this pistol ever coming back. I just due to the cost. The cost of this today probably would be well over $2,000, considering what it was back in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. What we're going to do now is we're going to take this thing out to the range, and we're going to see how it shoots. Now, the ammunition that I used with this was the Black Hills 115 grain full metal jacket. And at the time I was out there with this pistol, I also had my lab radar. It's going to see the velocities out of this small barrel. And we had a 115 grain bullet with an average velocity of 1,063 feet a second. So let's see how it shoots.
Slides 123. Frame. $104 degrees. So, which means because you have the expansion chamber down here where the gas is, this frame gets extremely hot to be able to hold, especially with rapid fire.
Shot excellent. It certainly shot better than I did. These pistols, I've used them for quite a bit of time. I've never owned one. It was, for me, I had a hard time with it, just with having to grip that in, being able to shoot well with it. It just didn't fit me very well. I certainly always enjoyed shooting them. At the Crown Laboratory I worked for in Wisconsin, we have one of the largest reference collections in the country, and we had all the different models of the P7 series. So I had opportunity to play with pretty much all of them. Recoil is very moderate on these. Due to the fact that this barrel is in a fixed position, the recoil comes back at you. It doesn't snap up at you like one of the Nicholas or Browning type or the Browning type locking mechanisms do. So the recoil does hit you in a different way. But the accuracy is incredible. You don't want to use lead in these. This does have the polygon type barrel in them, so you do not want to shoot lead in them. Now, currently, Walther has a model CCP, which utilizes the same operating mechanism. So the system is still in use today. Very, very limited, but it's still in use today. However, that pistol uses a conventional barrel, so you can utilize lead ammunition in it. For as far as this being gas operated, the way the location of the gas port is such that it would not be affected by a lead bullet. But due to the fact you had the kind of rifling you have, you definitely need to stay away from the lead ammunition with it. I do want to thank Henry over at 9-Hole Review for loaning me this pistol. These are very rare to come across. When you do come across them, it's very rare to find somebody who will actually let you shoot one. So definitely thankful for having the opportunity to take a look at one of these. And I do hope at some point to be able to find one of the 40 calibers, because that's the whole interesting animal on itself, due to the fact you have the heavier caliber. And you compare the recoil impulse to that versus a Glock or versus a Beretta or versus anything else in 40 caliber. It's a very unique feel to it. I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you do, please click like, please subscribe, and even better, share. Thank you.